Letter 17, May 18th. Before our reunion in Tokyo, I had never really felt I could love and be loved in such a way. The significance of this special experience will disappear from the world unless I recount it. So few dare to articulate their unique experiences and try to distinguish nuances of meaning between them. In the last 5 years I've known Yang, communication with her wasn't easy. She and I maintained a nihilistic relationship where I had little power to act. She wouldn't actively communicate with me or tell me what she was thinking, while also ignoring anything I tried to communicate to her. The biggest difference between Yang and Shu was that I wasn't sure if Yang really accepted me or not. Shu accepted me to such a high degree that we were able to cultivate a relationship of long-term, intimate communication that enlarged my powers as a lover to the point where it approached a level of la disponibilité absolue. In the absence of this kind of acceptance, the vitality of my love was weakened. It became like a hair preserved in the amber of an ancient tree. Yang suspended the love I offered her in that amber. By contrast, acceptance was a big part of Shu's personality. So even at the height of her betrayal and deception and apathy and avoidance, I could still feel her acceptance of me, from a certain ingrained knowing of her soul that was beyond pure experience. If she were to fade away from my life, I would still sense her acceptance of me through a kind of shared telepathy. That said, the flip side of acceptance is passivity. At its most extreme, one's passivity is also the pinnacle of weakness, and Shu wounded me deeply by falling into this trap. I was physically hurt for a whole year due to this weakness of hers, and because of my faith in love and my stubbornness, I suffered from this weakness of personality in our relationship to the point of total collapse. Yet she persists in thinking that turning to another will allow her to escape from her own weakness and from the possibility of hurting others. She doesn't understand her own accountability and that you can't run away from this kind of weakness in your life. It's impossible, and if you try, you will only cause more misunderstanding and pain and transgression. Maybe this whole year Shu is actually trying, although not subconsciously, to treat me well. How ruthlessly cold, how injurious and subconscious. But the fact remains that I felt completely unloved. I understood this as a feeling of abandonment, like a stab in the chest, when I went to Tokyo. Paradoxically, if I had encountered Yang's complete openness toward me at the same time, it's possible I wouldn't have understood that what she was offering me was the essence of being loved and being supported that I had been yearning for from Shu. In the past, I never could have imagined how to ask for these things, as there was no one in my life with that natural capacity. Besides a general mutual love between myself and others, for me there has been furthermore no other love. Without this body, I'd have no visceral knowledge of Shu, how she loves me, what I mean to her, how unsustained, how fragile, how beautiful she is. The flood brush of desire in the deepest layers of my body, so beautiful, so natural, so uniquely mine, formed after 3 years during which it sought me out and came alive as the manifestation of her spirit. Her fierce desire, her desire that rescued me as I lay dying, marginalized, struggling, rescued me from death, and reignited my will to live. I can completely forgive her for the suffering she's caused me. I forgive her for the unavoidable annihilation of 5 whole years, or maybe a lifetime. My love for her will only grow my aching tenderness for her, my acceptance unconditionally. Ultimately, I can still see her true beauty, the beauty of her inner passion for me, and how I, in turn, bring real value to her life by helping to express and even elaborate her vital energy, a precious treasure, a hidden reservoir of desire. Only she possesses this vital energy for me and loves me just by living. No matter what direction her life takes or how she expresses her desire for me, I can only find this expressive capacity in myself, only see the exact shape of my own desire, and I doubt I'll ever encounter another with the same capacity. Maybe my past lovers weren't able to convey that feeling of recognition, couldn't even recognize themselves. You can only be recognized by another after you've come to recognize your own desire. In the end, it was Young who enabled this feeling of recognition in me, though it was still far from deliverance. Next to the joy of encountering one's own desire, there is no greater joy than to be received by another. And Tokyo is the cherry blossoms, the sunset at dusk, dawn sunlight through her windows, the cry of the crow, the cityscape of darkened rooms on a rainy evening, the depth of feeling in her eyes.